The ASTM F1959 standard is a very important one to understand because it determines the ARC rating of a garment and hence the category rating as well. There are two ways to achieve an ARC rating. You can either get an ATPV or ARC thermal performance value or an EBT energy to break open threshold. It's important to note that there is no significant difference in both cases. Whether your ARC rating is ATPV or EBT, you're protected from second degree burn at or below the ARC rating of that fabric. So how is this test achieved? Well, we take 3 pieces of fabric, and we have in each arc the 3 pieces of fabric, 1 foot from the arc. We do 7 arcs, gives us 21 pieces of data. If you look at an ARC rating report, you'll see red dots on the bottom horizontal axis. If they're on the bottom axis, you had neither a burn through the fabric nor a hole in the fabric. If those red dots appear on the upper horizontal axis, you had either a burn through the fabric or a hole in the fabric. Once you have your data complete, 21 data points, the computer analyzes the average of that data and it puts a black curve through the course of that graph. If the 50% probability, if you look at your vertical axis, you'll see a 50% probability in the middle where you come across and that intersects that black average of the red dot data. You come down to the bottom horizontal axis, you'll find your ARC rating for that fabric and everything ever made from it. In other words, the 50% probability of either a burn through or a hole in the fabric is what yields your ARC rating. It's important to note, people say a 50% probability. I don't want a coin flip of being burnt. Well, of course we don't. The fact is that for statistically valid information, we have to do things this way. If you want 100% certainty, the sample size is enormous. So to have it be practical and usable, you have a smaller sample size and hence a 50% probability. But the good news is, if you look at the far right-hand column of your ARC rating report, you will see a 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, and 90% probability. And you'll also notice that that data set is very tight to the ARC rating. This is a good test, it's a precise test, and there's really not a lot of uncertainty to it.